Hi guys, I'm Carly with Artificial Plants and Trees, and today I'm going to show you how to make this bright and colorful wreath for our May Wreath of the Month. Alright, I'm now down to our plain wreath form again, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the supplies that we're going to use to do our May wreath. I start any wreath project by looking for my artificial stems. This time I fell in love with this idea of corals and pinks working together with a couple citrusy greens. So I have a big coral flower, a big pink flower, a hydrangea that brings the greens and the pinks together, and some fun long lime green stuff that will add even more texture and dimension to this finished project. Once I had the flowers selected, then it was time for me to go ahead and pick a coordinating ribbon. So what I do is I pick my flowers first. The ribbon I chose for this project, I'm going to take off this wrapper so that you can see it better, is this really beautiful wire-edged linen with a gold plaid running through it. And it's really going to be perfect for spring. It's going to add just a little bit of shine, and it's going to look really pretty under the flowers that we selected. This is going to be a quick and easy wreath, so let's get started. Oh, you're also going to want to have on hand some florist wire and a pair of wire snips, and these are going to be two products that you use every time we do a wreath. Once you buy them once, they'll last you time and time again. Alright, I'm going to start with my 3 flowers, and I start by holding them up in front of myself and seeing where I kind of want them, and that helps me determine how long I need the stems to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start snipping my stems. And I don't want these too long because I don't want them to stick out funny from the bottom of my wreath form. Alright, I'll put my cut stems aside here. And now I have these a lot shorter and ready to work with. So I'm going to start with my coral one here. And I'm just going to work it down into the twig wreath form until I have it where I want it. And if there's a little bit of stem hanging out from the bottom or the side, like I do have here, I can go ahead and I can snip that later. I didn't want to start with it being too short because I might reposition it. Next I'm going to add my hydrangea. And then lastly, I'm going to add my big pink flower here. And I like to hold it up occasionally and just see how it's going, see how everything's lying. I can go ahead and make adjustments if I need to then. And that's looking really nice. I am going to go back and just trim my stems that are sticking out a little bit. Okay. If you wanted to secure these even more, you could always add a little bit of hot glue to them. I don't because I like deconstructing my wreaths later on. Alright, the next thing we're going to add is our greenery. And this too, I'm going to have to trim the stems. But before I do that, I want to kind of play with it and see where I want it. I think for this one, I want one kind of coming out from the top and another one kind of tucked in on the bottom here. I'm going to tuck this one. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Lost a little bit. I'm going to leave a little bit of space between the bottom flower and the beginning of this greenery because I'm going to have a bow right here. And then I'm going to work this one right up to the top here. And then let those hang that way. And I might have to secure those a little bit more, and I can do that if I need to. Fan out my greenery a little bit. All right, our next step is going to be to add a really pretty ribbon right here. All right, now I'm going to show you how to make the bow for this. It's really important that you start with a ribbon that has wire along the edge because this helps you shape it. And then you're going to take the tail in your hands and take it under. And you're going to start taking your bow back and forth. And that's going to be your center point where you have the tail starting. And you're going to take it back and forth. You're going to make these two loops roughly the same size. And you're going to make 3 sets of loops that size. And then you're gradually going to start coming down in size, making each pair of loops the same size, but then coming down in size from one loop to the next. Now I'm going to have, when you get down to where you are down to like your last loop, you're going to kind of eyeball where you want that very center part to be, and then you're going to cut your ribbon. And just make a loop in the center. I'm still holding the first tail that I did and the last tail with my thumb and forefinger. Then take a long length of your wire. And go ahead and cut a lot of this because we're also going to use this wire to secure it to the wreath itself. And you're going to run your wire through the center of your bow. And then you're going to flip it over and bring it to the back. And as tightly as you can, and I use the table to help me kind of secure that a little bit, you're going to twist the wire nice and snug. All right, it all looks like a smushed mess right now, but what you can do now is start using your fingers and manipulating the different parts of your bow. Pull some up, pull some down, and alternate which ones go up and which ones go down. And then once you have them going every which direction, you can take your fingers in and start using that wire edging to fluff them up and make them nice and pretty. Alright, once I have it pretty much how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the wreath. And I'm going to do that before I finish fluffing it because you're going to smush it a little when you attach it to the wreath. So I'm going to take my bow. And because I have this green stuff sticking down, for this particular wreath, I don't want to have a tail to my bow. But if you did, you would just cut another length of your ribbon and attach it to the back using the wire, and then as it hangs down, you would just snip the ends until they were the length that you wanted. I'm going to kind of tuck my bow up under that pink flower. Keep catching my bracelet on my wreath form here. There we go. Okay. And this is where you use that wire that you left long, and you flip it over a little bit and secure that bow in the back using your wire. Once you have a couple good twists of that wire to really secure it, you can go ahead and trim the ends with your wire cutters. Alright, now that my bow is in place, I can go ahead and give it a final fluff. Here you have it. Our finished wreath is hung on the door. I fluffed our bow one more time, and I'm ready to welcome all of my guests this spring. If you loved this project, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our daily blog at artificialplantsandtrees.com.